You're listening to Brittany and Kendall with producer Mike, and we watched Love is Blind. That's what we do here. So Love is Blind is they want to call it a dating experiment, but reality, it's just people who don't get to see each other until they're engaged. They talk between these different pods. You'll hear us use this term a lot, pods. It's just a room where you can talk to somebody, but you don't get to see them. Mike always next levels things. He said, you guys should do this with your blindfolds on and get to experience what they experience. And we said, we hate this idea. And Amy, our boss, said, we love this idea. Mm-hmm. So with Mike's help, especially this last week, with like literally he's our scene Love is Blind producer who has now actually watched it with us to tell us who's in which room.
Works out well.
It does. So you get to watch it twice.
Mm-hmm. Lucky me.
We're getting a little bit more introduced to Ben and Sarah. Ben comes from a religious background, and Sarah is a little worried because she does have a gay sister, and she doesn't know what that looks like in Ben's world. Mm-hmm. Well, conversations, seemingly, it's funny because their voices and the content feels like it didn't match with the results. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, that we open with them, and Ben was like, because I love you. And he goes, oh, I'm so sorry. Kind of giggles. Like, I mean, I'm falling in love with you. Did I just say that? And I'm like, oh, off, whatever. Then they start talking politics.
Yeah.
And locally, if you're from the Twin Cities, they talk about George Floyd. And like, if you don't have an opinion on that and you live in Minneapolis, that's just, no, you don't. You have an opinion. You just don't want the other person to know what it is.
Yeah. And so Ben went from a place of, I don't get involved in that and I don't want to talk about that. And Sarah accepts that.
Well, first she's like, well, you can have not a huge opinion on things, but like that's human rights. And she kind of gets a little into that, but still, to your point, accepts him. She still continues a conversation.
She's decided that no matter what this fool says, she goes, perfect. I love that. Because like, I don't know.
I mean, give her more credit than that. She pushes back a little bit.
She does push back a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, you guys aren't matching up.
No. She's got to acknowledge that at some point.
They've bought into each other before they really figured out the nuts and bolts of it. Mm-hmm. So that's Ben and Sarah. We move on. This is the love quad or love not love pentagon.
Oh, I'm sorry. May I ask Mike though?
Yeah.
Well, you're watching this conversation because we're hearing it and it sounds awkward and uncomfortable. Like, does it look uncomfortable? Because to me, Ben looks like the stereotypical, I saw him out last night at Sneaky Pete's guy.
Yeah.
Yep. And it feels that exact same way. And she, to your point, I mean, she did at one point, it's like, wait a minute, you can't just say you don't have an opinion on this. Like, you have to have some sort of feels on this. You can't just remove yourself from it. And you could see she was a little irritated by that. And then eventually, when he just kind of kept doing it, she's like, yeah, I guess I respect that. But this feels like, and we've seen in this quote experiment, there are certain people that come in and they're really wanting to end this in a relationship.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, they want this experiment, whether it is for the fact that they want the shiny lights and they want to keep this going on as long as they can, or because they truly want to find love. And it feels like even these two specifically, even with their flaws, they're really overlooking a lot because they want to end up together and they're down to like each other's one.
They want that TV time.
And I would have to be a liar to say I haven't been in situations like that where you go, okay, I kind of want to make this work and I'll deal with it later. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to deal with it later. Like, unfortunately, I feel like that is often a theme, and especially in your 20s and you're dating and you're like, I'm going to kind of ignore this red flag because I really want to make this work right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
The word I was looking for was square, by the way. The love square. There's a love quadrant. Love square. Love square, which is Mason, Madison, Meg, and Alex.
Alex, yes, sorry.
Yes.
So many A's, so little time.
And it should actually be Alex, Madison, whatever. The point is Mason and Madison. Madison's been trying to end it with Mason this is the second date where she's like soft launching the breakup.
Because she wants to be with Alex.
She wants to be with Alex. She literally is obsessed with Alex. And probably the reason she is obsessed with Alex is because he's pulling away from her. And she's like, come back.
Well, and they seem to have deeper conversations than she does with Mason.
Yeah. So Mason is not getting the memo about the soft launch of the breakup. What he's hearing is, she wants me to commit. And it's just so funny because she's sitting there going, yeah, I just think we're at a point where we kind of have to pick. And he's like, I pick you. She's like, no, that's not what I was saying. Mm-hmm.
You can understand why some of these people in this experiment have struggled with love in the past because he's not picking up these obvious signs of what she's wanting and needing.
Totally.
And you don't have to see someone's face to know what they're putting out there. Because we can hear it.
Oh, it's like, hello. Me and Kendall thought we were getting broken up with. It felt so palpable. Like,
oh,
she wants
to grab my stuff now?
She wants to be done. Bring your 45 cups and go elsewhere. So like any real solid relationship, as soon as things get real and having real talk, we turn to a place of sex talk with Mason and Madison. So then you go, Mason just doubled down, right? He just said, I want to be with you, Madison. That means most likely he's going to have to end things with Meg, right?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. He said, I can eat my cake in both rooms.
Strawberry and red velvet. Here we go.
When Mason enters this date with Meg, we thought for sure, okay, he's going to cut it off. And he went to a place of, I'm doubling down. I think we were meant for each other. I don't know how we have this connection. And you go, Mason, first off, you're probably within 10 miles of us right now. Mason, you know this is getting filmed, right?
And you are going to have to pick one.
Like, Mason, they're going to see this. They're going to hear this. And not only that, like, all of us hear and see you saying this to two people.
Well, not all of us see it, but we hear it.
Someday.
We hear you saying that.
Someday we'll see it.
I still think that that Madison and Meg are both cuter than him. And I think that Meg's a total bombshell.
Yeah.
And he's going to come out of this and be like, oh, I wish I would have picked her, no matter how things end up. Because all he wants to do is talk about sex anyway.
Do you think that Madison and Mason are going to end up with each other by default?
Not necessarily. But I think I just have this feeling that Madison is like super cute. And in my mind, she's this like teeny little cute thing. And like, then there's like sex bomb Meg. Yeah. And he's going to be like, damn. Oh, I should have picked the sex bomb one just because it's literally all this man talks about is sex.
Yeah.
Like, and I also am like, are you a virgin?
Mike, who do you think Madison is going to end up with?
I can't answer that question. Let's move on to the next.
Oh.
Maybe part of me going forward a little bit and helping you guys watch this a little bit better, I've discovered things.
Yeah, which is fine.
So I'm just going to remove myself from that conversation.
Thank you.
Okay. And then I got to figure out, I think that Madison and Mason are going to end up together.
Okay.
Because I think unless. Oh.
Okay, how about Devin and Brittany versus Devin and Virginia? Because we got to get through them and Dave.
Good point. Dave. Devin is for sure going to end up for Virginia. There was some things said. Devin said that he found God, and Brittany said that she also found how fun it is to be with a woman. And I don't think that those things are going to mesh well for Devin.
Well, and she very much was like, I dated several women. I just really see myself marrying a man. And his voice is like, so I'm just kind of a guy.
Yeah, Devin no likey that.
What, Mike?
And we're very concerned about Brittany. I think she has a dehydration problem.
Yes, we're worried.
Yeah. She had 7 different glasses in front of her at one point. I know you guys didn't see this. I had to bring it up to you. But she had 7 different wine/drink glasses in front of her while she was chatting with Devin.
Maybe she's like the girl in Signs. It's like, no, there's dust in it now.
I
don't know.
I can relate to accumulating glasses, but it's like within a week.
Yeah.
So the idea that she went there with that many, did she have like a PA help her? I don't know. And then Dave and Molly and Dave and Lauren. Who's Dave going to end up with, Kendall?
Dave's going to end up with Molly because they talk, again, a lot about sex.
Yeah.
There we go. He mansplains a bunch to Molly, too. And she's like, okay. Whereas he mansplains to Lauren and she's like, I'm sorry. Yeah. What the hell did you just say to me? He ain't going to take that. Which Lauren, run.
I think you're so right. I think Lauren wrote bye, Lauren, and like in that way, Lauren, you're doing fine. You're gonna be. Oh, Mike.
And we did just have one that we missed, Daniel and Taylor. We didn't even make notes about it because it was so obvious that those two have already decided on each other and are going to end up as a couple. So we just fast forward through that.
Yeah,
one.
I wrote love each other. Bye.
Yep, exactly. Love each other and are very boring.
Bye.